ESPN makes it difficult for me to obey Jesus Christ. Very difficult. Because at ESPN, Stephen A. Whitlock can't get a job at ESPN. And I keep saying, like, man, ESPN is not the right fit for me. Because I almost said, hey, like this transgender deal and putting these transgenders, wannabe transgenders, in the same sporting events as women, I'm not going to bite my tongue on that. All the racial idolatry that you all do, just screaming and calling any and everybody, oh, Bob Kraft is racist. Oh, this person's racist. Oh, Jimmy Haslam, he's racist. Kevin Stefanski, he's racist. They hate. I can't do that. It's not honest. It's just some emotion for illogical people to pretend that they have logic and that they have wisdom, and they don't. Finally, Stephen A. James 5:16. Therefore, confess your sins to each other and pray for each other so that you may be healed. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. Stephen A., get yourself in a prayer group of men and confess your sins to them and let them pray over you. 'Cause that's what I do. And this isn't me trying to be perfect, because I want to get to those clips as well, because Stephen A. is accusing me of something that I just don't do. Let's play SOT 4, where, somehow he thinks that I think I'm a paragon of virtue. Play the clip.
This same dude, ladies and gentlemen, working over there at Blaze Media, trying to come across as he's some paragon of virtue. And he brings up God a lot. Tell me what's God like about what he does. He talks smack about people. He ventures into the personal. He swears up and down he knows stuff he can't possibly know. He does all of these things. And he hides behind a cloth of truth. This is what he's trying to swear that it is, but never telling the truth about himself. How are you acting before you got a job at Blaze TV? What proclivities did you have, Jason Whitlock? We could talk about other people's personal life, but we don't want to get into yours, right? I mean, if you listen to him, he's as close to Christ as anybody. And he's one of the most evil, most despicable human beings that you will ever find in your life. Does nothing but talk about people. Does nothing but talk down to people. Nothing. Nothing. And then somehow, some way, all of a sudden, he questions the authenticity.
This is what I'm saying. Bad journalist and a pathological liar. It's a horrible combination. Horrible. I just, this morning, I had the guys that work put together just a small compilation. Anybody that watches Fearless hears me talk about myself, call myself retarded, call myself a degenerate, I'm a very flawed person. And I'm in a fight for my soul, righteousness. I'm in a huge fight, and I talk about it all the time, about the mistakes I made. The reason why Stephen A. knows things about me is because I tell it all on this show, and people repeat it to him. But anyway, we put together just a short compilation of just things I've acknowledged, the mistakes that I've made. And there are people that send me emails and complaints like, hey, Whitlock, quit beating yourself up. We don't need to hear about the mistakes you made and how unrighteous you were. We don't need to hear that over and over again. But I just want to give you a little taste. Play SOT 14. These guys love to tell stories about how, we went to the strip club after, and that's how we bonded as a team and blah, blah. And it sounds like I'm beating up these guys. but I know it because I've experienced it myself. You've listened to me talk about myself. And so I've made all these mistakes. I'm just trying to pass on to these young people. You don't have to make them. You can learn from my mistakes. The more I pursued righteousness in a relationship with Jesus Christ, the more hated I've become, the more untouchable I've become. If I would just go back to promoting sexual degeneracy and talking about the pleasures and how undefeated pussy glory is, I would be welcomed back into the arms. I still gamble a little bit. I'm just being transparent. I haven't conquered that.
You've heard me confess that my involvement in an abortion, that years ago when I'm out in the world trying to prove how heterosexual I am, I impregnate a friend, and she did not tell me that she was pregnant. She moved back home and disappeared on me for about a year. I was a friend. I just never heard from her again. Circled back a year later. She was so devastated by her abortion. She circles back to me a year later and says, Jason, I got to tell you what happened and why I disappeared, and you got to help me carry this burden. She's haunted by it. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. It was not my decision.
No different than sex outside of marriage. Me hanging out in strip clubs and banging strippers. Demonic. So I'm not accusing you of something that I'm also not accusing myself of. Different vein, different light.
So I just want to, me and the roll call deal where I'm in the green, I was very sick on that day. That's why my voice sounded horrendous. I don't even, God got me through a roll call this past year, but that's why my voice sounded so terrible. But, I'm sharing a story about the abortion that I played a role in. And this is commonplace for anybody that watches my show regularly. I do not try to distance myself from people that are caught up in sin, because I've been there and I'm still struggling with it. You can't live the life that I live without struggling with it. And I talked about all the ramifications. We didn't play the clip, but, I cost myself arguably the greatest woman in the history of the planet. Because, and I've told this story like I'm a retard. I let my best friend, Frank, I'm choosing between the booty call that I'm dealing with at the time and the girl that God sent to me that would have made the perfect wife. And I've acknowledged, like, me and my boy, she comes out to a golf tournament, the Derek Thomas Celebrity Golf Tournament, and we get, and I'm embarrassed to say it, but it's like her booty's not big enough. And my boy was like, man, you can't give up. I'm not going to say the other girl's name, but you can't give up Joanne's booty for that? Are you crazy? And I was like, yeah, you're right. Her booty ain't like, and that drove my decision making. I'm a retard. And I talk about it so that other people overcome their retardation.